Okay, so hey, what is going on, guys? It is your boy, the King Attila here, welcoming you all back to a brand new video up on the channel. Today, guys, we're going to be looking into the new structure deck that just recently dropped, aka Return of the Fire Kings. Now, I'm not going to lie, I really do enjoy playing with this deck, and especially now that I've actually learned how to play it. It took me a little bit longer than it should have to learn how to play it. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it takes me a minute to learn some of these structure decks, but once I learn them, I know what I'm doing with them, you know. But regardless, there actually are a couple things I want to talk about in this video, because every time a new structure deck drops, I want to give my personal feedback on not just specifically my thoughts on the new structure deck, and not just 3 duels with me commentating over it, but I want to give my, I guess I'd say, casual competitive thoughts on them. Meaning, I'm not high ranked in Duel Links competitive as of yet. I'm still working on it, but I haven't hit that point yet. So I actually do want to give, at least from my mind, the thoughts on the base deck. Keep in mind, I did not do any edits to this deck from when I actually bought the structure deck when it released. And the notes I have for this is, the first thing I noticed immediately is you're probably not going to get a one-turn kill with this deck. And that's not a bad thing, because I personally like playing longer-ish duels. But I've noticed that a lot of, at least in the brackets I've played, there are a lot more OTK strats than anything else. And for a deck to not have at least one viable OTK strat that you can go to if you feel it's needed, it kind of invalidates it to a point. But of course, I've also already seen other content creators comment on the fact that, yeah, you can build this into a King of Games worthy deck. The next thing I want to note about this is the fact that it does have 2 Phoenix monsters. And when I say Phoenix monsters, I don't mean a specific archetype Phoenix. I'm referring to Phoenix in the type that once it leaves the field through some means, its effect will bring it back. And luckily for us, both of the Phoenix monsters that we actually have going in this deck can come out pretty quickly, because there's an easy way to get a turn 1 Phoenix, and there are 2 of them. Both of them have really good effects. One of them clears the opponent's back row, one of them will clear the entire front row, not just the opponent's, and I feel that's actually a pretty viable way to play, especially because if you have 2 copies of the deck, you can just put yourself in a cycle of 2 Garuniks, 2 Garuniks. The other thing I do want to note about it is the fact that this is a structure deck that starts with 21 cards. And that number doesn't mean a lot until you look at the fact that it lowers your percent of getting a card. Say, out of 20 cards, you have a 5% chance to draw something. 21 cards, you've slimmed those percents down quite a bit. And I feel, unless you're running Miracle Draw Jade and Yuki, which I personally don't see a reason to run Miracle Draw with this, or at least run this deck on Jade and Yuki, because I feel there are other characters who you can definitely give easier support to the deck with, and you shouldn't have to use Miracle Draw to do it, aka My Valentine would be a good candidate for this deck, not gonna lie. But I felt I should comment on my thoughts on that. But then the last thing I want to talk about is, at least from what I've seen in some of the structure decks, I feel this deck has more of an imbalance in monsters. Every other deck has the monsters. First off, this deck has monsters of 2 different archetypes in it. It has the Nephetus and the Fire King archetypes. And I feel that impacts play quite a bit, not gonna lie. But of course, you do have support spells and traps for both types of cards. but that also kind of puts you into a constraint when you need one card and you get the other. But on to the next thing I want to talk about. I do want to talk about the 3 specifically notable cards I think I should mention from this deck. And the first one's going to be Fire King Island, which it has 2 abilities. One lets you immediately get Phoenix Garunix into your hand, as long as you have another monster that you can viably give up, of course. And the other one is, as long as you control no monsters, you can special summon 1 winged beast monster from your hand, which means if you get Sacred Phoenix of Nephidus or Garunix in your hand turn 1 with a Fire King Island, that's all she wrote for you. But speaking of the Sacred Phoenix of Nephidus, that's going to be the second notable card of the deck. And it's a Phoenix card. When it is destroyed by a card effect, it comes back to the field, and then it clears your opponent's back row. I said this before, but I felt that was worth saying twice. And then the last notable card is going to be, of course, the mascot card of the box, Garunix. Fire King High Avatar Garunix, I believe his name is. And he is definitely the superior of the 2, because if you actually end up getting Sacred Phoenix and Nephidus out before you can get Garunix out for whatever reason, which it is definitely possible that that'll happen, but if it does end up happening, all you gotta do is activate Garunix's ability, destroy it, he'll come back standby phase, wipe your field, that's a card effect for your Phoenix. Your Phoenix comes back the next turn, wipes your opponent's back row. And I feel that's a pretty good strategy. And of course, the last thing I want to do for this video is I want to go ahead and give a personal rating of the deck. And I'm going to rate this deck personally 7 out of 10, because it took me a bit longer than it should have to learn it. Like I said, it took me a day, 2 days to learn it, because I don't know why I kept getting all these monsters mixed up. I just feel kind of stupid after doing all that, but it's something that happened. And once I learned it, it's definitely a fun deck, and I'm going to continue playing this deck. I might actually go ahead and buy 1 more copy. I don't know if I'm going to buy 3 copies of the deck, but I might definitely buy another copy of the deck, just so I can actually build myself another Fire King deck that I want, you know. But that's actually going to be all for the commentary in this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If so, leave a like, comment, subscribe for me. I'll see you guys later. I'm going to let you guys watch the rest of these duels.